Just when you thought the hype train was gearing up to set off to its final destination of Hackney Diamonds, the Rolling Stones return only to once again whip the star-studded carpet from under your feet, releasing a 7-minute long rock opera banger of a tune, Through the Sweet Sounds of Heaven, featuring Lady Gaga and Stevie Wonder. And when I saw all this information in one go, I almost exploded through the sheer epic potential of such a highly crafted rock amalgamation of epicness, reaching the potential of my brain nearly combusting in the same way it does when I listen to Master Exploder. And to save you some time for your opinion on this video, I love this new single, and I think the Rolling Stones, Stevie Wonder and Lady Gaga form a fantastic team, and they're definitely a match made in heaven for this kind of track which the Stones have just released. Now, it's fair to say I was quite interested in seeing where the band would go with Hackney Diamonds after their initial release of Angry, which seemed like quite a traditional simplistic rock track, where the basics of British rock had been done to their highest standard, and ultimately I loved that single too. But to be completely honest, I was a tad apprehensive in some ways, as although an album of that would suit me just fine, I was aware there was a risk of the Rolling Stones releasing an album that dare be called generic or dull, or too simplistic if the entire record all sounded like Angry. But from this interview with Mick Jagger by Tom Power, it reflected not only the ways in which the Stones have tried to keep themselves both fresh and relevant over the years, but the fact that we can look forward to more collaborations on the record, such as Lady Gaga, Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney, to name a few. So thankfully my worries were immediately squished, and the collaboration with Lady Gaga certainly did pique my interest, as in some ways it seemed like a bit of a strange team to form, until you realise they performed live together before, and they just seem to work pretty well together. And not only is Lady Gaga a very talented vocalist, but she does have this deep respect for classic British rock, reflected through both her love for the Rolling Stones and other artists like David Bowie. So finally coming round to Sweet Sounds of Heaven, we have an epic 7-minute long feast of the classic Stones sound with a heavy collaboration between Stevie Wonder and Lady Gaga. We have Stevie's keys steadily carrying the track from the very opening right the way through, helping the ship sail along, if you will allow me a metaphor. And throughout the track we're also steadily introduced to Lady Gaga, supplying support vocals that stand out yet don't steal Mick's limelight, and operates as it should, reflecting power and variance, yet also showing restraint to serve the track and not show off, respecting that this is still a Rolling Stones track and not a highlight reel or a vocal battle. Although I do like around 6 minutes in where the track is pulled down to its bare bones, mainly of Stevie playing piano whilst Mick Jagger and Lady Gaga have a screech off, which does bring a smile to my face, although all the local cats and dogs are likely in pain. When looking at the lyrics of the track, we have a pretty simplistic vocabulary used once again, with quite intense language reflecting the glorious ideals of heaven and righteousness spreading through the world, filling everyone with love, health and happiness. And the lyrics are repeating in nature for the structure of the song, similar to a lot of other Stones tracks that we've heard in the past, where we have these instrumental ensembles protrude in the background whilst Mick Jagger essentially riffs the vocal performance, with the most popular of these being Sympathy for the Devil, ultimately giving Sweet Sounds of Heaven its final signature Stones stamp of approval. Now, I suppose I can understand a certain point of view that all of this is just long, winding rock music that could be deemed maybe a bit boring or a bit exhausting, and that's something I can understand for other people, albeit a point of view which I certainly disagree with. And I can also see the same being said for the prior single of Angry. But for me, I think this traditional style of rock music that the Stones are releasing at the moment, which is managing to retain a simplistic nature in some ways, but with that updated edge in terms of production to keep things fresh, is really working for me, and is only getting me more excited for the album dropping in a few weeks. And you best believe I'll be there listening and weeping with pure happiness, I'm sure. Do let me know what you thought of their new track Sweet Sounds of Heaven in the comments, and if you took to the collaborations or not that they featured in this one. As always, feel free to like and subscribe if you're new here, and on that note, I think I'll say ta-ra for now, and I'll see you later.